Hey guys, it's Rod with Civil Advantage Firearms Training here. If you're in law enforcement, you're watching this video, do not seek a warrant for my home. Don't execute a warrant for my home or the studio for that matter. This is not a real suppressor. This is the GSG1911 and we're going to do a review on it today. So as far as the suppressor is concerned, it's a fake suppressor. It doesn't reduce the sound of the firearm whatsoever. Therefore, it is not a prohibited device. Okay, let's take that off so we don't get anybody excited. So the GSG1911. Well, this one was lent to me graciously by my buddy Johnny, and I'm looking around. Actually, oh yeah, here it is. Just so you know, it comes with a thread adapter, so this thing protects the threads and makes the barrel look like it's one solid piece. There we go. That's a little bit better. But Johnny lent me this gun. I had a chance to shoot it a couple of different times, three different occasions. And the second occasion, I tried to run quite a bit of ammo through it. I had some problems. I'll show you a video about that and tell you why that was. But you know, I wouldn't consider myself an expert on this pistol by any means. But again, as my videos, as you guys know what my videos are all about, it's just like, hey, you know what? I shot it a few times. Would I buy one? That's it. So as I mentioned, my buddy Johnny brought this out to the range. He was shooting, and I went, hey, you know, I've seen those, and it's kind of neat. Do you mind if I shoot it? And of course, you know, he says, yeah, you know, fill your boots. So I shot it a fair bit that day, probably, I don't know, maybe 50, 100 rounds, not too much. But it was a cool little pistol. So I kind of got interested in it, and because it's around the $400 mark, around $420, depending on where you buy it, give or take, right? And it comes with the, you know, the fake suppressors. It's kind of neat. I mean, whatever, right? Makes it hard to use it in a holster, but makes for a good picture maybe. How about that? Nonetheless, I shot a little bit. I got kind of interested. I looked at the price online. I thought, oh, I don't know, this might be a good addition to the collection. But I'll tell you this, I'm not big on 22 pistols. I'll explain my position on that in another video, but I'm just not a big 22 fan anymore because it's just not, it's not action packed enough for me. I like recoil, and I like to train with full caliber firearms. Just so that every minute that I'm training, I'm getting something out of it. So not to be disparaging on 22 whatsoever. So don't get me wrong, I'm not a fanatic when it comes to that stuff. So as far as the pistol is concerned, the machining is beautiful. GSG did a beautiful job of this thing. It is mil-spec accurate as far as the dimensions of the gun. So what does that mean to you? All your holsters are going to fit. Isn't that great? So if you've spent the money on these nice molded 1911 holsters, this thing's going to fit in there. So that's great. The quality is, I think it's outstanding, to be honest with you. There are a couple of pieces that are plastic. So the grip safety is plastic, including the beaver tail here. So the beaver tail I could see snapping off if you drop this pistol on the ground. I don't know if it would. Maybe it's carbon fiber or something in there that I'm not unaware of, but I'm just looking at that going, I could see that coming off. The sights are plastic too, which is not the end of the world. But the front post is really pronounced and it's plastic. Okay, so I could see that getting broken off for sure. Now, so could GSG. So what did they do? They added 2 more front sights in the package for you should you have an issue, which is actually really great of them. I mean, that's a heads up play by these guys, so good on them for that. I mean, guess who lost the front sight off his Glock and hasn't shot it for like almost 3 months because I call all over the place. Do you have a front sight? You know, the $6 one. No, we got tritium ones though for $100. Like, well, just looking for that cheap plastic one, you know. So just want to get out there and shoot again. Can you help? No? Okay, good. So anyway, they come with 2 extra front posts, which is great. I want to talk about the mags for a second. The mags are very interesting. They're heavy and they're thick and they're very well made and they're metal. So that's kind of neat because if you look at the mag when it has, you know, a bunch of 22 in it, it actually feels like a loaded 45 mag. And the mag's going to the mag well, really nice, like super nice. Way better than my 1911, like my full caliber one, the 45 ACP. Now, the 1911s I have are Norinkos, so they don't have the flared mag well or anything, but you know, they can be a little tricky to get in there. But these ones go in and out of there really great. They drop free, really nice. So good job on that. Now I'm told that I know it's a lot of information, guys, but hang with me. If you're looking for a buying decision on this, this is stuff you need to know. I'm told that this pistol itself is made in the same factory that makes SIG's 1911 22 pistol. So I don't know if they're identical or not, but you know, I could believe it because the quality is quite nice. Now, to finish up with these mags, you need to load them kind of carefully. What I found with them was that if I loaded the mag, sometimes the nose, the actual bullet of the 22 long rifle cartridge was a little bit low to the lip here that would have been going right up against the feeding ramp, the loading ramp, I should say, of the barrel itself. So, and I did experience a jam or two. I looked at the mag and went, and I'm trying to push it down a few times, and you can actually pull the spring down, the follower, and I thought, and it just wouldn't position up nice the way that you'd expect a 22 long rifle. You know how you gotta always have them kind of pointed up there. It wasn't pointed up, and I wonder if that'll affect the operation of the firearm. Put it in there, yeah, it does. So it can be a little bit finicky in the mag, although the mags are really, really cool, really well built. Now, what's important too, it comes with one magazine. And as you guys know, a magazine-fed firearm is absolutely useless. It's slower than a bolt-action firearm if you don't have any magazines. So you always want to buy extras. For a pistol, I'd recommend 6 or 8 magazines. You got to be able to lose a few and still have 4. With rifles, as you guys know, I think 10 is about the right number. So you can still lose 3 of them. You still got 7 magazines. You need those mags. There's nothing that drives me stinking crazier than someone like Steyr. When you go buy a Steyr pistol, your mags are stinking $60. Well, I need 6 mags, man. So now I got a budget like the same amount of money that I paid for the pistol just for magazines. Like I know that they don't cost the same amount, you know, of money to produce the pistol does, right? So I know exactly what's going on here, right? So anyway, long story short, I'm told that these mags can be had for about $30, so I'm happy with that. So that's good too. All right, how it shoots. Let's get on with it. The first time I shot it, it was Johnny's ammunition, and I think he had some decent stuff, and I think I experienced 1 jam or whatever, so it wasn't bad. And I think I saw maybe him have 1 jam, and that's why I was immediately impressed with the gun right away, because I thought, well, hey, it's a 22 pistol, doesn't jam. You know, how can you go wrong? Looks cool. It's nice and heavy. It's like a real 1911. The second time, when I borrowed it from Johnny and took it out, I used Winchester 333 rounds, is what they call them. And these are hollow points. So these did not work very well. Let's have a look at the video right here. Magazine disconnect safety. I don't know, man. Oh. I know, but his actual life is in danger. Yeah. Oh, magazine just. What a nightmare. This thing's awesome. Look at that. Yeah, so not very good, right? The 333s did not work very well. So while I was at the range, a guy had this 22 rifle, you know, the one that looks like the Scar. Everybody was excited about those for a little while, ISSA or something like that. Anyways, he had one of those, and I was chatting with him, and I said, well, I heard that they had a lot of jamming issues. And he goes, yeah, absolutely. If you run cheap ammo in there, they jam. And this guy said, I've been running CCI mini mags, and I haven't had a failure, period. So I said, oh, that's pretty good. And I said, how much is that stuff? Because one of the biggest reasons why you shoot rimfire is because cheap, right? And he goes, well, it's $7.99 a thousand. So $8 1,000. I'm like, well, sorry, $8 100. If it was $8 1,000, I guess I wouldn't be complaining. $8 100. So, you know, whatever, right? $80 1,000. I could probably live with that. So anyway, good quality ammo helped with that firearm. So what I did was I came back and I went, I got to go shoot this gun one more time, because as you saw, this stuff was jamming it. Well, this stuff is also hollow point, and as you know, a lot of times hollow point can create an issue with rimfire firearms. So I had some of this stuff sitting around. Now this is made by CIL, CIL Imperial. Never seen this stuff before ever. But again, I'm not really a big rimfire guy, and I've only been shooting for about 10 years, right? So this stuff was given to me by someone. They said, oh, you shoot guns? I'm like, yeah, I shoot guns. Oh, here, I've got some of this ammo. I'm like, I'll take it. I like ammo. Free is even better than the cheap crap that I buy, right? Free is even a better price. So I look at this stuff, and it was, he bought it 50 rounds for $1.79. High velocity 22 long rifle. 50 rounds for under $2. And this is nice stuff. Round nosed too, right? So I'm like, that's probably old. If it was sold in Kmart in Canada, Kmart pulled out of Canada like 20 years ago. I don't even know how old this stuff is. So I thought, hey, that's a good opportunity to go use it. So I grabbed a few rounds of this stuff, and let's see if that made a difference. Check out the video. Well, isn't that something? So good ammunition when it comes to rimfire firearms does make a difference. So even this super old stuff, not that because it was old it would be no good, I don't know, but it worked like a hot damn. And because it was high velocity, this is kind of an interesting point. So I don't like 22s because they're just not snappy enough, right? I don't feel like I'm really shooting a gun. I feel like I'm shooting a pellet gun on steroids. So, and I'm shooting for fun, right? I'm shooting to train. I'm not shooting varmints and not for hunting or whatever. So I want to feel a bit of a boom. Well, those high velocities, man, they had a little bit of a snap to them. So I was just like, hey, this is not so bad, right? So I could see myself paying a few bucks extra for high velocity. So that's kind of cool. All right, as far as the gun, the way the gun shoots, I think it shoots awesome. Very smooth. They made it heavy, like a 1911. It's about this. I think it's only 2 ounces lighter than a real 1911. Same thing with the mags, as I mentioned. Something I want to tell you about is the trigger. The trigger. See, I can't pull the trigger because they have this ridiculous feature in here, which we'll talk about in a second. I gotta find a soapbox to jump up on. But anyway, the trigger is just beautiful. I think by the time you take up the slack, it's like 1 millimeter, and it just breaks. And it's not hard. I bet you it's 3 pounds, maybe 4. But just the greatest trigger. The travel is so short that you can shoot quite fast with this thing. And so far, it's kept up with the trigger finger, which is kind of cool. So the trigger is just beautiful. So as far as the quality of the gun is, fantastic. It also has a tactical rail. It's got a rail right under here, so you can actually put a flashlight on it. Find that in a 1911 that you don't pay serious cash for, right? So that's kind of cool too. Let's talk about the downsides for a minute. First downside is this gun has a magazine disconnect safety. So the thing is, I want to do a function test on this gun. And what a function test looks like, I can't do that. I got to put the stupid mag in there, and I got. Sorry for the rant, guys. Nonetheless, it has a magazine disconnect safety in there, so that kind of sucks. I can't even drop the hammer without a mag in there, right? Buy or no buy? Yeah, I think it's a great pistol. It's accurate. It seems to be quite reliable. The magazines are really cool. All the good stuff. Do away with the magazine disconnect safety. Whoever thought of that, you know, obviously they ran into something as a kid, got their bell rung, haven't been thinking straight since then. Really bad idea. But aside from that, it's a beautiful pistol and really fun to shoot. So, you know what? If you're really into 1911s, this is probably a great choice. I didn't look into how much the SIG ones were, the SIG 1911 22 long rifles, but all things being equal, I think it's a great little pistol for a decent price. And remember, you can fool everybody into thinking that you're some kind of hitman or whatever with the fake suppressor, which comes free with the black version. Anyway, hopefully this was helpful. I know it was a little bit long, but there was a lot to say about this pistol. If you guys want to comment, please feel free and comment below. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can find us at CivilAdvantage1, or you can find us on the web at www.civiladvantage.com. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.